Let's lock in. Gervonta Tank Davis says that a rematch with Lamont Roach will not be his next fight. We're going to watch and then we'll discuss it. And I'll also tell you what I think based on the evidence that's out there, who he was going to call out and who may realistically be Gervonta Tank Davis' next fight. So here's Gervonta Davis, and this is what he had to say about a rematch with Lamont Roach.
Do you want that rematch next? And if so, how likely it is that we're to see that fight happen again this year?
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we can get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
It's definitely the one I want next, but it's not gonna be next.
Well, what is?
You might see it in a minute.
So you heard Gervonta. He wants the rematch next, but it's most likely not going to be what's next. And he was also asked about the call out because he tweeted before the fight he was going to call someone out, his next opponent out in the ring. So he was asked about that. Now let's listen to what Gervonta Tank Davis had to say about his call out.
Fight. You originally were going to call somebody out, you said, after the fight, but since the draw happened, it looks like Lamont Roach rematch is what's on the horizon. But who were you gonna call out? What was the plan originally?
I think he was here. He came in my locker room.
Shakur Stevenson?
He wasn't in my locker room. Next question.
Now, he made it clear it wasn't Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson wasn't in his locker room, and Shakur Stevenson was in the crowd as a spectator. But there was video of one person who was going into people's locker rooms and saying what's up to everyone. And that person is Pitbull Cruz. So if you see here, Pitbull Cruz goes into the locker room and he says what's up to Rayo Valenzuela. And let's just take a look at Pitbull making around saying what's up to people. And now you see him with Gary Antoine Russell shaking hands. Pitbull shaking hands with Gary Russell Jr. Now you see Pitbull Cruz was making the rounds and saying what's up to everyone. So if you ask me, based on the evidence and what Gervonta Tank Davis was saying, he was going to call out. He said the person he was going to call out came to his locker room. We can eliminate Shakur because Shakur didn't go to his locker room. We could also eliminate other fighters who weren't at the venue. But the fighter who was at the venue was Pitbull Cruz, and Pitbull Cruz was going into fighters' locker rooms and saying what's up. So based on the process of elimination and the information that Gervonta Tank Davis put out there, I'm of the belief that he was going to call out Pitbull Cruz for the rematch because there are people out there who believe that Pitbull Cruz beat Gervonta Tank Davis. In fact, there's a boxer who does commentary. It may be Sergio Mora, I think, said it's the second time he watched Tank lose. He stated that the first was with Pitbull Cruz and this time with Lamont Roach. So I believe that he was going to call out Pitbull Cruz. Pitbull Cruz is with PBC. And again, as I stated in the first video, you kind of have this scenario in this situation where PBC is doing its own thing and PBC is trying to remain their own sole company and not work in a partnership with Turkey Al-Sheikh like all the other promotional companies. They want to be their own entity. So that makes perfect sense. Tank was supposed to spark out Roach and then call out Pitbull Cruz. That's what it seems like. But to address Lamont Roach not getting a rematch in the immediate rematch, I think that would be disappointing, especially to the diehard boxing public who feels like Lamont Roach should have won the fight. Just being objective and neutral. This isn't even anyone's opinion. Even if there was someone who was biased or someone who favored Lamont Roach in close rounds and they had it 116, 112, that's irrelevant. The official judges scored it 114-114. And the only reason they had it that way is because the referee, Steve Willis, did not call a knockdown. So if he does that, there's no doubt that on the official scorecards, Lamont Roach wins. So this isn't some situation where everyone's up in arms for no reason. Like, it legitimately should have been called a knockdown. Tank admits that he took a knee and he wasn't aware of it being a penalty. Although, honestly, do you believe that? This man been boxing since he's in the amateurs. He doesn't know that taking a knee should be called a knockdown and you should lose a point for that. Even if Steve Willis didn't call it a knockdown, he should have deducted a point. He could have stopped the fight at that point. I've seen fights where when a fighter turns away the way that Gervonta Tank Davis did, it gets waved off. I mean, if he's not going to fight Lamont Roach in an immediate rematch, if he was planning on calling out Pitbull Cruz, the public's not going to stand for that. And even if he fights Pitbull Cruz next, well, you'll see in this next video, there is an opponent out there for Lamont Roach who's thrown their name out there for Lamont Roach, and it's a pretty big fight. But I hope Lamont Roach gets an opportunity to fight Gervonta Tank Davis again, because I think there are things that both of them can improve on. First, let's start with Gervonta. I think that Gervonta has the advantage in hand speed. I think Gervonta sat back a little too long and tried to force Lamont Roach into taking the lead and opening up to make a mistake to get countered. But Lamont Roach made the decision to be patient. He wanted to force Tank to take the lead. I think when Tank took the lead, he got a little too greedy, and then he allowed Lamont Roach to become the counterpuncher, because I think Lamont Roach is a very good counterpuncher. I think in the rematch, if Tank wants to win and win convincingly, he needs to fight pot shot. He needs to land 1, 2, 3 max, get up out of there. You're up. You won the exchange. Now reset, pot shot again, land 2 more, reset, get out of there. Because Lamont Roach proved he can counter Tank. So if you're Tank, that's the way you got to fight. But if you're Lamont Roach, to me personally, I don't think he should sit back and wait for Gervonta Tank Davis, because actually when he stopped fearing the counter and he went on the attack, he was landing really good punches. And he also showed the ability to get hit by Tank and land an immediate counter to hurt Tank. So I think he needs to press the action more, because when he took the lead, he actually did really good work. He was pushing Tank back and he was landing very good punches, and he landed more punches than Tank, and he landed more punches on Tank than any of Tank's other opponents. So I think he needs to revisit it. You need to be smart. Of course, you need to be cautious, and you need to attack with a purpose. But I think he'll take away from this fight. He didn't need to be as cautious early as he was. So if he wins some of those early rounds more definitively, and he doesn't leave it up to interpretation, he could definitely take a decision. But Tank could also do things differently. So a rematch would be a good fight. But if Tank doesn't fight Lamont Roach next, it appears that a rematch with Pitbull Cruz is in the cards for Gervonta Tank Davis, based on the information that he put out there, process of elimination, and conventional wisdom. But I hope we see Lamont Roach against Tank in a rematch. But if we don't, make sure you check out my next video where I show you who's most likely the next opponent for Lamont Roach if it is not Gervonta Tank Davis. Thank you for watching this video. For those of you who leave a comment, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I see them. I try to get back to them. I am extremely busy right now, but the comments mean a lot, because it shows that you're engaged, you're watching the video, and whether it's 1 comment or 20, I genuinely appreciate it. Please hit the like button if you can. I mean, if you like the video and you hit the like button, it helps circulate the video to more people. It helps the algorithm put the video in rotation, and it helps the channel grow, which I'll be honest is what I need at this particular point in time. Also, if you want to listen to the content but you can't watch it on YouTube, This podcast is available on all major streaming services. I appreciate your support. Thank you for rocking with me. It's Caden. I'm out. Peace.